All right, so now you should add those four columns up. Those four columns, you add them up. Here's the hard part. Those four numbers at the bottom should equal 100. If it's 110, it's because you added my printed numbers. Don't do that. Just add the handwritten numbers. Close enough. You're in financial planning. You're close enough. What's 100 here, 100 there? At the bottom of the page, you'll see in each column, there's a space to write the style. So let's write the styles for each of the styles. Is ready? The first column, under the first column on the left, please write the capital letter D for David. Dominant, demanding, destructive, demented. The next column, capital letter I for Irene, involved, interactive, insane. The next column, S for Sally, structured, supportive, sincere. All the way to the end, last column, C for competency, cautious, conscientiousness. You now have four columns that have numbers and letters. Find the column with the largest number and find the column with the largest number, circle the corresponding letter. Circle this corresponding letter. If you're tied, what's your numbers? What are your numbers? And the INS, that means you're schizophrenic and so are you. That's fine. It means you give equal weight to that behavior. Nothing wrong with that. I'm teasing. We have doctors standing by. So if you have a D, if you circle the D, please stand up if you would. If you circle D as your highest, all D's stand up. Keep standing. Everybody look around the room. Do not try to borrow money from these people. You're not going to get it, all right? Sit down. Where are my high eyes? If you would stand up. They generally like to stand up. Look around the room. Borrow money. Exactly, Terry. Thank you. Borrow money from these people. They forget who they loaned it to. You may be seated. Now, if your I is your highest, if you just stood up, if your I is your highest, generally, your C is below 20. Because you have no idea about time management. None. Zero. If you're an S, please stand up. I know it's hard for the S's to do so. Please stand up for the S's. Look around the room. These are the only people in the room you can trust. When they say it's going to rain, you can set your tubs out. All right, you may be seated. All right, my C's. Please stand up if you're a C. Organize, make sure everything's straight. Good. Do not borrow money from these people. They charge interest. Because, Jennifer, you know where your money goes. All right, now you did this because you can be a sales professional and be any style. I have seen it, I've lived it, I've noticed it. I've trained it, I've coached it, I've managed it. No one style is best for anything. Some styles gravitate toward positions because of their DNA, if you will. But I've seen people in each of the DISC styles be successful. The problem that you and I have when we first started selling, at least when I did, I wanted to be like this guy. When I was a delivery boy, the best salesperson was this guy. Then I got to know this guy, and I wanted nothing to do with him. Because that ain't me. I could not say that. I could not do that. I just didn't like it. Be careful of who you model. Be careful of where you go get coaching from. But at the same time, if you understand this about yourself, then it's easier for you to adjust, not change. It's easier for you to adjust to someone who's different from you. Okay, we're going to pick on everybody. Nobody's going to be excluded. We're going to pick on all the styles because you need it. Even the people from Amsterdam with that fake accent. Turn next page. We left reading people differently with David, Irene, Sally, Charles. We're going to talk about each of these people. We start with the Davids. We start with the Davids because they're the most impatient. They don't have ulcers, but they are carriers. They are direct, competitive, confident. They get the job done. They're demanding. They're doers. They're drivers, results-oriented. Who are some famous Americans, presidents, generals that fit that description? Hitler. To the extreme. That's exactly right. Patton, Stalin, any New York City cab driver. Bobby Knight, Vince Lombardi, Donald Trump, Barbara. Steve Jobs, Nick Saban. And what happens is, it's not gender specific. So this is Barbara Walters. Is Barbara Walters to the extreme that Donald Trump is? No. But Barbara Walters is the first woman journalist to make over $1 million a year in a male-driven industry, direct, competitive, and confident. Nancy Pelosi, Scarlett O'Hara, Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Clinton. Get the job done. Recently, a while back, I shouldn't say recently, 2 Ds get married in Atlanta. Ted Turner marries Jane Fonda. They get married. Several years ago, Jane finds God. When Ted realized that it wasn't him, he left her. They can butt heads. Get her done. Do not tell these people about your slow-pitch softball team. If I were to have a meeting with Donald Trump, I'm not going to initiate small talk. He has a family. He has several. But I'm not going to initiate small talk. I'll let him initiate it. Then we have the I's of friendly people. They're happy people. To me, this is Robin Williams. This is Oprah. This is Bill Cosby. This is Jim Carrey. This is Carol Burnett. This is Muhammad Ali. They're friendly. They're outgoing. They're emotional. Be careful that these people get excited, but then that impulsive nature they have sometimes waits. Be careful, because you got to go back up there and get them re-excited. They know everybody in the community. They join things, or on clubs, they go to networking events, they give you the most names. These people give you the most leads. These people give you the most names. Be careful with those guys. And then we have my favorite style. The S's who stood up earlier, thank you for being S's, because this is they're sincere, they're loyal, they're good listeners, they're stable, they're supportive, they're into security. This is Mother Teresa, this is Laura Bush, this is Florence Nightingale, Mr. Rogers, Snuffleupagus, Barney, and my favorite, Tonto. Tonto is always there for the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger made the decisions. This guy carried them out. They'd ride up to the top of the hill. There'd be trouble in town. The Lone Ranger would say, Tonto, come here, put his arm around him. Tonto, I want you to ride into town, get beat up, come back and report. Oh, man. So every episode, loyal sidekick that he was, he rode into town, he got beat up, he dragged himself back. He told Kemosabe, and what did Kemosabe do? Just like all you D's in this room do, jumped on his horse, no plan, rides to town. Every episode, they capture the Lone Ranger, they tie him to a chair, about to rip off his mask, and who rescued him? Right here, the S's. Now listen to this. The D's and the I's don't like this, but S's, listen up. S's make the best salespeople. The D's and the I's say, wait, we're outgoing, we're friendly, man, we're out there. What do you mean? We make them. Here's the problem. The D or the I walk into a room full of people and say, here I am, how am I doing? Good to see me. The D or the I walks in and says, here I am. The S walks in and says, there you are. Both of them walk into the room, but where is the attention? S's don't gravitate toward straight commission sales job. They need more structure. D's and I's don't mind that non-structure. So the D's and the I's need to steal some of the traits of the S. The S needs to steal some of the traits of the D's and the I's. My mother worked with my brother's insurance agency for, well, since 1954, and he retired. She retired 4 years ago, so a long time. My mother's here. My brother and my dad were here. My dad was a high D, worked for Exxon, Esso, for 33 years. In the last 14 years, he sold State Farm Insurance. My mother had the college degree. Dad didn't. He was smart enough to know he wasn't smart, and he let a lot go to Mom. Great relationship, business and marriage-wise. Mother, however, doesn't like change. Picked up the phone in 1984 and said, Mom, I just quit IBM Monday, go to work for Ziglar. Mom, are you there? She said, you did what? You left the IBM corporate. What is Ziglar? A sewing machine attachment? Are you sure this is the right thing to do? Well, it wasn't until I called you, yeah. S's don't like risk. They want security. I'm the baby of the family. Therefore, she wanted the baby to be protected. Understand this. She wasn't trying to steal my dreams. She was trying to protect me. S's don't like change. You go into a customer. You're saying you're going to make some changes. You're going to change this. You're going to do this. And they start flaring on you. Be careful with that. You go into a prospective customer. You know, we've always done it like this. Yes, I understand. How can we make it easier to change? Let them know you're on their side to walk them through the change, the adjustments. And then we have the Charles. The Charles, analytical, by the book. To me, this is Bill Gates, Sherlock Holmes, Ralph Nader, my favorite from Star Trek, Mr. Spock. You never go up to Spock and say, Spock, how do you feel about this? He was a Vulcan. He didn't feel. They logic their way through, or he was a half Vulcan. They logic their way through things. These are engineers, accountants, computer programmers. The high C accountant went to church without his wife, came home. She said, honey, I missed the service. What did the pastor talk about? Sin. What did he say about it? He's against it. So if you, that didn't go in the Northeast. They don't catch that in the Northeast. All right, if you would, right here, if you would, please write the words, ask open questions. You've got to be a better questioner to different styles. You need to ask open questions to the high C's because you need to draw them out. All right, here's your assignment at lunch. I want you to come back with the name of a customer or a prospective customer that you work with. If I ask you a few questions, you would be able to accurately answer about the person so we can determine what quadrant they fall into. So that's your assignment. Come back with the name of a customer, come back with the name of a prospective client that you work with, that if I ask you questions, if you ask me about Don Grauer up in Stratford, Connecticut, I can answer questions about Don. Because what we want to do is understand how to determine somebody's style, then a strategy to communicate more effectively so that we communicate in such a way they want to receive it. Folks, I promise you, when I sell to myself and you're in front of me and I'm selling to myself through you, unless you're like me, I'm going to miss the sale. Therefore, I have to adjust. Not change, I have to adjust. This will help you understand that. If you're recruiting people, this will help you on who to recruit. If you're hiring people, if you're maintaining customers, this will help you understand how to do that. Folks, I had to learn this. This did not come naturally from me. My human condition, my human nature, as Wayne said, in 1982, I was a manager in San Francisco with the IBM Corporation. I had 14 sales reps reporting to me. 5 of them loved me, 9 of them hated me because I didn't understand this. And I'd come in at the beginning, the guys got a meeting, 8:30, 9:30, big conference room, to be there in 30 minutes. And the analyticals would follow me into my office and say, Bryan, you told me to organize my day, my week, my month. What's the deal? We have these impromptu meetings. You're killing me. Karen, be in the meeting. Just get out of here. Be in the meeting in 25 minutes. Get out of here. I was wrong. So when I learned this, all she wanted, all the analyticals wanted, was prior notice. So in those days, we had to type and copy, put in their mail slots. It didn't have email. And that'd say there's a meeting on Thursday, 8:30, 9:30, big conference room. Don't be afraid of understanding people as people and not as units of production. Don't be afraid of working on your skills.